Hi, my name is David Gutierrez. I'm the immigration attorney here at Shumway Van. I'd like to talk to you today about criminal charges and how they can affect the status of an immigrant, both undocumented or an immigrant who is legally in the United States. The first thing we want to talk about is that there is great consequences if criminal charges are brought against an immigrant. Those charges can affect an immigrant whether or not they turn into convictions, and an immigrant charges from any state or the federal government could affect an immigrant status here in the United States. Now, like I said, this is both legal permanent residents, or as we call them LPRs, or undocumented immigrants, or immigrants who are here on special visas. Any one of these categories can be negatively affected by criminal charges. Legal permanent residents have the right to enter and re-enter the United States at their leisure. This can be affected by criminal charges in more than one way. A legal permanent resident could become deportable depending on whether charges were brought for certain crimes or convictions for certain crimes were brought by the state. On top of being deportable, an immigrant can become inadmissible, which means that they are not allowed back into the United States if they were to leave the United States. This can greatly affect a legal permanent resident because a legal permanent resident has the right to travel, and they believe they have a right to travel outside of the United States. And they may travel outside the United States without knowing that they have triggered some statute that makes them inadmissible. This means that when they return back to the United States and try to enter, they will not be allowed back in, and they are essentially barred from entering the United States. Now, it can affect undocumented immigrants in many ways as well. An undocumented immigrant could be brought up on charges, and this could mean that USCIS or Immigration and Customs Enforcement could be brought to their attention, and they could proceed with removal proceedings against that undocumented immigrant, whereas he or she were flying under the radar, so to speak, before that crime occurred. And again, it's important that any immigrant that is arrested not only seek a criminal defense attorney to help them, but also seek an immigration attorney, or preferably an attorney that understands both criminal defense and immigration law. This is important because it's complicated. Both sides of the law are complicated. Criminal defense can be very complicated. Immigration law can be very complicated. So it's important for any immigrant who is brought up on any criminal charge to ask their criminal defense attorney what the immigration consequences are of not only the charge, but of taking a plea or getting a conviction. And it's important for them to truly push that criminal defense attorney to ask an immigration attorney if they don't know the answers. And if the resident or the immigrant is unsatisfied, it's important for them to go and seek an immigration attorney until they get their answers satisfied, because it is very, very, very consequential to the ability to stay in the United States. So to sum up, I just implore any immigrant who is arrested or who may be brought up on charges or who has been brought up on charges to be sure and get their immigration law facts straight by seeking an immigration attorney or by finding a criminal defense attorney who understands immigration law.